Welcome to the call, guys. My name is GK. I'm aware, obviously, today is Good Friday, so we might not get a lot of people due to the event happening today. They might be with their family and stuff. But if you're here, welcome to the call. We're just gonna quickly do a quick intro, and then we're gonna kick off with the main event happening today. So, welcome to our second call of the second season, where we collectively come together as traders, really anywhere in our journey, whether you're a beginner, whether you've been doing this for about 3-4 years, whether you've been doing this for like 10-20 years. And we come collectively together to talk about trading mindset, trading psychology, and to really just elevate one another. This is not a strategy call. We're not going to be talking about strategy here. We're not going to be talking about how we're going to enter the market, but how we think as a trader. Okay. That's going to be really the key theme here. And it's something that's really important when it comes to the market. You could have the best strategy, you can have the best method when it comes to trading, but if you're not holding yourself as a disciplined professional trader, well, what's the point, right? So a couple of like house rules to really get into it. Well, number one, just respect the speakers here, right? They're giving up their time, and I'm giving up my time, and you're also giving up your time as well. So number two, just really focus. Be committed to this. I'm not going to be long. We're not going to be here for hours. Just going to be an hour. And really remove the distraction. So remove Facebook, Instagram, and all sorts, and have your pen and paper ready, right? And also, well done for being here, guys. It's a Friday. You guys could be doing anything out with your friend, watching your favorite sitcom and whatnot, but you're here on a Friday night. So really, well done on that. Um, so stay tuned, because I do have a giveaway. Last time I've done something like this was in Christmas time. But as I said, because it's Easter, I want to be giving something away. So it's going to be a bunch of books on financial management and master traders collection. So those two links I'll give out. So watch out at the end on how to get involved with that. And these calls tend to be free. Okay, but I do have an organization here which hold on. Can you guys see my screen? You guys should be able to see yeah. So I do have an organization here, the Children's Air Ambulance. These guys are not government funded, and what they do are really unique, right? So as you can see here, when a child is too sick to travel, they literally fly the medical teams to the children there. So I'm going to attach a link to the website, so you can find out more about what they do, and also how you can get involved, right? If you want to, I'm personally a volunteer there. But if you want to also become a volunteer, or just give back to the community in some sort of way, I would definitely suggest this as an organization to do so. And without further ado, let's get into it. So before I get started in terms of bringing on our guest, I just want to quickly introduce him to you guys, and he's also going to go into his story. But this individual has, I think, been trading just 1 year before myself. He's been trading since about 2017, and he really had the similar start off to his journey, like pretty much everyone on this call and anyone listening to this later, whereby he was pretty much losing money, I think it's safe to say, and also blew a number of accounts. And I think number one, don't be shy of that. If you've done that, understand that this is something that's really normal. And I think it's simply because we have this high expectation of making easy money, and then once when we go into it, it's not that case, right? So I've really asked him to come on board to really share that experience, and how he went about turning that around. And if there is one person on this call who's a beginner right now, or who's in that journey of maybe losing money, or just can't get capital gains on their account, hopefully you will find some sort of inspiration, some sort of motivation to carry on, because that's what John did, right? He did not throw in the towel 3 years into consistent losses. And he managed to turn that around. He managed to go from being with retail traders to now being obviously with professional traders, trading among them. So I'm going to spotlight you, bro. Oxygen mute, and then spotlight for everybody. Cool.
Cool.
You should be able to speak.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, GK, for getting me on. I'm excited to be here, and I just love talking about trading. So, and if anything I could do to, you guys answer any questions you guys have, please, don't hesitate to ask. Like, when I started in 2017 and 2018, around there, before 2020, when trading became really cool, like there was not a lot of resources, just so much noise, and now there's tons of resources and extra noise. So I think I'll speak for myself that I'm a good source right now who's been through mazes of information and knows what's good, or at least why I can get you in the right direction, so don't be afraid to ask or speak up. But again, my name's John. I've been, again, like I said, I've been trading since 2017. I actually got into trading before because I was I always had an entrepreneurial mindset, just trying to find a way to make money. And I just can't remember exactly how I saw trading. It may have been like Ricky Gutierrez on YouTube, I think, Tech Buds or something like that. I found him on YouTube, and he was like the first person on YouTube to actually explain how to trade, like instead of trying to buy into a service. And so that, I started learning resistance and support lines from there. Really liked it. It was like a kind of on and off for a bit. And then it wasn't really till, well, then, they were also teaching us to trade, small caps. And, small caps are very tricky to trade. And I thought, it kind of scared me, and you also lose just a lot of money, right? So, and then I ended up stepping into the world of options. And when I found out, like, oh, you could trade large caps, you can actually trade large caps and don't need a lot of money to do it. I think that's why a lot of people get into options first. And so that's what I ended up doing. I ended up skipping from stocks and trading small caps, getting into large caps. And there's this guy, his name is I can't on Facebook, if you go to like his Facebook page called Options Trading with Steve. He has a really good course. I recommend, like, if you're trying to like really fast pace yourself, catch up, if you're really new to trading or the markets, I think it's a really good course because he definitely made a big pivot in my trading journey. I think I was just kind of constantly lost in the beginning, just losing money and no really sense of direction. And I didn't even know like what top down analysis was. And that just, even something so simple like that was a game changer, like understanding, the story of a stock from looking down on the daily to the weekly, to the hourly, learning to read candles, all this stuff. So anyway, that's kind of where my trading kind of changed. And I think it was around 20, beginning of 2020, when I really, like, like I kind of got back. I stayed away from trading for a bit, lost money, made money. But then I'm like, you know what? I think I really want to pursue this. I just, it's really interesting. I like it. The options game was exciting. I could make a lot of money, lose a lot of money. It was, it was cool. Um, so I did that a lot during 2019, and I actually started making money for once and not losing it. And but still, still in my hole and still down, throughout the years of losing money. And keep in mind too, I wasn't trading with a lot of money. I blew up some accounts, but maybe it was like 2,000 here, 1,000 here. And I recommend too, like, trading with small size, because you're gonna learn the same mistakes whether it's with a lot of money or little money. You could trade one share and learn the same valuable lesson with trading 1,000 shares or 500 shares. But where was I? So, after meeting Steve and, taking his course and learning and all that stuff, um, I was in the middle of college, and I think it was on my junior or senior year, and I'm thinking, okay, what do I want to do? I really like this. This is a pretty good hobby. Um, but if I do want to do this professionally, it's really hard. Statistics are 90% against you. So I ended up, and then, 2020 happens, right? The pandemic hits, comes out of nowhere. I happened to be applying to jobs, and I got into, AT&T gave me an offer for business to business sales before I could even, apply to other jobs. And then, when the pandemic happened, left and right, people were pulling offers for graduates, and I was just like, oh shit, like, well, I'm gonna take this offer, because I don't even know if there's jobs going to be handed out after, during this, or when. So I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. So, we go out, I graduate out of college, and having to trade a bit, in college. I also actually I skipped over a point out. During 2020 was actually where I made the most money, I guess, as a retail trader. That was because everything was crashing and I was just buying puts everywhere. But it also like kind of really jump started. Like I was at a part-time sales job and I had to quit it because I was making more money with the option trading, and I was just like, in the middle of the morning on a sales call, and then like I see Tesla, about break down, and I trade and make $1,000 on that call, and then the next day I quit the job because I'm like, I literally need to be looking at the screen. I'm losing, So I ended up, yeah. So again, I just getting really in depth with, and really getting attached more to the trading. So during towards AT&T, during AT&T, I am, starting to trade less. The job is keeping me really busy, and at that point, I've been trading for a few years now, and it's the one thing that as a kid or young adult that no one has ever had to tell me to stick with. And it's something, even though I completely sucked at it, like I just kept sticking with it, and I feel like that speaks for itself, right? Like if it's something you just, you continue at. Normally, there's probably things that you pick up for a week, 2 weeks, a month. You suck at it and you quit. And I just noticed, I'm like, about myself, I'm like, man, it's been years and I'm still I'm still at it. And so um and then there was a moment in time where I'm just like, man, I don't think I can really look at the markets anymore. I'm so busy with this job. And then when I had that realization, my heart started hurting. And I know it sounds cliche, but it really was weird. It was a weird feeling that I've never felt before, and it felt like a broken heart. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. Like you normally feel that about a person, not a thing. And I'm very big, like, you know, uh, big on psychology before then, big on like, because you need to really good psychology in anything in life, and self-improvement and all that stuff. So I'm kind of more aware of like of my body and my feelings. Yeah, basically, right? I was in love with the markets, and that's when I was like, man, if I feel about this, for something, I think that's a sign. And I'm a big, like, I hate what ifs in life. I hate what ifs. Like, and I just knew, like, man, 20 years from now, am I gonna like, I know I'm gonna look back and be like, what if I didn't drop that dream? Could I have been like a huge successful trader with like that, living that dream life that we're chasing? Or or do I just give in and do the sales thing? And I mean, I was, like you said, I think I just was in love, and I just thought, nah, you know what, I'm still young enough. um I think I could do it. I think I at least should try. I should try, right? I should give it a try. I know myself. I won't, I won't hear the end of it, for myself if I don't try at least. So at that moment I knew, okay, I need a roadmap and I need a plan. I want to get to here. I want to be a trader. And at that point, I was actually starting to go flat. So I'm sorry, I kind of skipped over. During 2020 pandemic, I all that money I made in 1 month made me flat for my all-time career. And I was like, whoa, okay, now I'm actually flat making money, and now I'm kind of chopping around, but I just can't seem to get out of the chop of P&L. And so I'm like, I'm so close. I just know I'm so close to getting it. It's like years later, but now I'm like, the only thing I think I'm missing is guidance. Like I need to be around people who know what they're doing. I need a mentor. And that's what I just kept hearing over and over again, listening to podcasts and videos. It's just, I need this mentor. So I thought the best way is, okay, I need to get into a prop firm. I need to get in a trading firm, or just a trading job. I need to be surrounded by someone who knows what they're doing. And I feel like, knowing my knowledge I have then and added their knowledge, like I could do it. I can be a consistent, profitable trader. So so then right there and then, I knew the first thing I needed was finance experience, right? Like I'm thinking, okay, no prop firm. Well, maybe, but it's competitive out there, and I'm just like, all right, I have no finance experience, and I did international business as my major. And so I started applying everywhere. I started applying to prop firms, banks, any finance thing that you can, think of. I was maybe applied to over 100 places, rejection, until I finally got accepted from Fidelity. Luckily, Fidelity Investments, and they were on a hiring spree, so it's really, a perfect timing type of storm thing. And so I finally, once I got in there, in my head, I'm like telling them, yeah, and it was really cool, and I really glad that they they accepted me. I was able to get my Series 7 with them, and honestly, Fidelity is a great company to work for. Just FYI, if you ever go, it's hard to leave. It was hard to leave, but once I was in Fidelity, I even tried getting to a trading role or market role within Fidelity, but they actually outsourced a lot of their market stuff, and they asked for 5-year experience, and then you have to move to Boston. It was really hard. So I realized, okay, well, I got the finance role now that I needed. And now what's the next step? Well, I still got to get closer to trading, and I can't do that with Fidelity. So I'm like, well, now that I have Fidelity on my resume, I start applying again everywhere. And then the first, prop firm that gets back to me, it's kind of seemed a little sketchy at first because they didn't have a website. And I'm like, okay, it's weird. And but then what made me more curious about them was that there's different tiers of prop firms, right? And some ask you to put money up front, some ask for leverage and they'll give you leverage, some ask you to pay for their service or stuff. But this was paying me. They were actually a real firm looking to invest in me, give you a stipend. In the first 4 months you weren't paid at all. It was like a training, and if after the end of 4 months with no pay, they would decide if you would they would decide if they would hire you or not. So there's this offer was crazy because I would tell people at Fidelity, my friends, working for IBM and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, you're telling me you're getting an offer, it's for no pay, you're gonna leave Fidelity for a job with no pay the first morning, not even a guarantee of getting hired. And I'm keeping in mind I'm in Dallas, Texas at this time, and they're telling me to move to New York, one of the most expensive, cities. So I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what the offer is. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And at the time, so I was mad.
Did you try SMB Capital by any chance?
Yeah, I did. I didn't hear. I mean, they were really popular into it. Imagine if you applied to them. I have a friend. Yeah, and then you mentioned Nathan, right? Yeah. He's there. He applied to them. He interned them during 2019. So before 2020, but you imagine during 2020 and after, it's like now they're getting applications, and now they're just really famous on YouTube. But I did apply to Kushner and all these other ones. I only heard back from Kushner. Really, actually, I got to the second part. And so yeah, I didn't really hear back from anyone else. The other firms were more looking for more mathy people, quants, which I'm not. And yeah, and then this was only the first firm actually to get back to me. And and then I loved that. At first I was kind of disappointed. I was like, damn, I don't know. I don't really know anything about this firm. This firm's actually kind of like a ghost, to be honest. They don't, and now that I know I've been here, they don't like to be known, and they rather just be in the shadows, and they have bigger things to care about than a website. And so that's what I learned. Now their website works. So that's good. But yeah, so yeah, I had a whole week of just not sleeping because I'm like, man, I know right here and now, this is it. This is the pivot point. If I want to be a trader, I say yes, and I go. I had to call my mom too because I'm gonna need a little bit of support because I'm not gonna get paid for 4 months, Yeah. And talking to my family and just close friends about it. And I said, I'm just good through the interview process and see how it is, right? And I kind of skipped over to the offer, right? But I got the interviews. I actually, one of the traders that interviewed me, he had a similar kind of thing. I told him about yeah, everyone kind of thinks I'm crazy about this offer. And he goes, yeah, honestly, he had an opportunity to be a sheriff in New York City or join the sheriffs. And, his family thought he was crazy not to not go to the academy because he got accepted and take the trading job. And again, same offer, 4 months, no pay, not even guarantee. And everyone's like, why are you doing this job? He's like, I love it. I love what we're doing. So he kind of resented with me a bit, or not to say resonated with me for a bit. And yeah, and then the one, I think there's 2 more calls that I had. A friend out here in New York too. He's working for Apollo now. It's private equity. And I think he was working for one of the big 4 accounting firms. And he's like, dude, the jobs that you have at Fidelity, those management, what are called wealth management jobs, that they come and go. They're here, they're everywhere. You can get it anywhere. But a seat at a prop firm is a rare thing. It's and especially it depends. T3 tradings, you can get in. It's easier. I have some friends there. It's not bad, but this is more of a firm that's going to have an easier start because they're actually going to give you a stipend if you get hired versus other firms, some don't. So he's like, and then yeah, and so that kind of hit me. He goes, and if it fails, like you have some experience at a prop firm in New York, like, you know, just having that experience alone, you can go back to any other state and like get hired, no problem, you know. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So now I'm kind of leaning towards it. And then I talked to one more guy, and if you don't know him, his name's Brian Lee, and he's on one of the Chat with Trader podcast episodes, and I met him in 2019, or I reached out to him in 2019, and before he was popular, and because now he's super popular, and now, like, you know, so I don't think I would have ever got to speak to him, but now I can hit him up whenever I want, because, you know, I talked to him before he blew up, and, you know, he told me, I called him, you know, to see what he thought, and he's just like, you know, it's a risk reward kind of game. Like, if this is what you really want to do, like, what's the risk reward? Like, yeah, again, the risk, like my other friend, you know, Apollo said, like, you know, I can always go get another regular job after. And the reward, you know, is uncapped. The reward is uncapped. If you succeed at this, it's uncapped. And so, yeah, I think that was it. You know, I got the support I needed, and just the balls I needed, I guess. You know, super risky, because even till today, some people are like, "Damn, that's crazy! Like, who would do that?" You know, but I would, because I was just in love with trading.
Yeah, that summarizes it
Yeah,
quite a bit, actually. A couple of years
yeah,
into it.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
actually got a
Go-
question to just bring you right back. I mean, if you can remember, first of all. So what, if you can remember, what was your mindset like? What was your motivation when you first got that taste of winning in trading?
Okay, yeah.
And then
So,
just to carry on, sorry, because
no,
I
yeah.
wanna, well, once you answer that, then I wanna kind of bring it into how you are now after 4 years into it, for example, and I want to compare that mindset, you know.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I guess now, you know, I thought during 2020, you know, looking at it then without knowing what I know now, I was starting to make money, and I was, you know, obviously making more than I'm losing, and making a lot of money. Um, and you know, I thought, man, after taking this course, you know, sticking with it for these years, I did my 3 years of work. Like, I deserve this. This is like, oh, I got it now. I got the aha. I guess they say it was summer 2019. I got the aha moment. You know, I got the aha moment, and you know, it's a real, like, type of uh I don't know, flame that goes. And now you're just like, I'm waking up, and I'm living in California at this time. So, you know, I have to wake up at 5:30 a.m., you know, get up, get my coffee, you know, watch the news, market news. I'm listening to podcasts, and I'm deep diving into this stuff, you know, and working just hard constantly. And you know, I think, like, damn, maybe I made it now. Like, I can make a lot of money, and you know, I know what I'm doing now. I'm probably going to be trading options forever. And then I think after, you know, towards the end of 2020, the market kind of changes, and what I was doing, like, you know, breakouts and stuff, um, kind of stopped working. But I never really got to lose that money per se, because eventually I got busy with work, with actual after college. So I never, you know, I just never got the chance. Like, did I really get it, or was it the market? Was it just a lucky streak or something? Um, and yeah, that's kind of the answer. So it was a really good feeling. I was like, man, okay, it's a reward now. You know, I did get the aha moment, and you know, now I'm doing my due diligence of work and trading, and not really having to be in chat rooms per se. Like, I can do my own analysis and make my own decisions and buy and sell. And yeah, and then, but now, if I fast forward to where I'm at today, like, it's just not that simple, you know. The 2020 and 2021 markets were the best markets in such a long time, Like, it was easy. It was easy money. And I wish I would have known that, because I would have just aped in and bought even more. Now that I know that, 2021, I was consistent. There was one point where I had one red day in 2 weeks. Like, it was crazy. And, like, you know, I wish I would have known that at that time. You know, I wish you knew the good times when you were in the good times, because then I would just, I would double, tripled my size, you know, knowing that right now, 2022 is one of the hardest markets to trade in, like, to learn it. There's guys who've been trading for 20, 30 years or their whole lives, and are struggling. You know, there's a lot of traders in the hole. Some of the best traders, and if you've seen S&B Capital, like a recent video, he's like, he's saying some of their best traders right now that at the firm are struggling. He's kind of like salty. It was like, I'm surprised he said this, but like, damn, he's like, they before I thought like they were gonna make it. They're gonna make tons of big traders. They're gonna be big traders and money. And now I don't know about that. I was like, now I don't know if they're gonna make it. And I'm like, damn, like why would he say that? I don't know. It kind of sucks, but I guess he's whatever, So yeah. So and then what I think about it now my mindset is I can confidently say I have an edge in the market. My edge isn't and now I have an edge and I have to my psychology is not there yet and I'm still developing. But I'm far ahead from what I do now. And my trading is a lot different, right? I don't trade options anymore. I kind of suck at large caps a bit. I trade my edge, or what I specifically love, is shorting backside small caps, so shitty companies, and that's what I do now. And I'm kind of seriously thinking at this moment now to stop doing long trades and only go short for now, because I'm still developing, but in terms of the rest of the crowd of traders in the community, I'm definitely ahead. And because I've surrounded myself with a lot of successful traders, and the more that I've got into New York, where the community is, I've met, and the circle is actually pretty small amongst the big traders, and it's a wild world. But yeah, I hope did I answer your question?
Yeah, kind of, yeah, did. Going back, I think you touched on something that I wrote down already. So, you talked a little bit about how your day looks like, you wake up at 6 o'clock and then you carry on. So right now, on a professional level, dealing with, professional traders and stuff, what does your daily routine look like? What time, because I know obviously you're into fundamentals as well of your stock. So as you said yourself, you would look at the news and plug into so many resources. So yeah, what does your typical good trading day look like?
Yeah, like right now, I just I get up. Well, now I'm in New York time, so it's great. So I kind of purposely get into the office a little later now. I don't wake up as early. It depends, right? If something's really active and good, there's sometimes where you can wake up at 4 a.m. right when the market opens, or the pre-market opens, and some trade that. I know some traders do that on the really active days. But on just a regular normal day, I try to straggle in late, because again, I'm not perfect yet, and I'm trying not to trade pre-market anymore, or because right now it's so hard. This market is so hard to trade in, that if there's any losses you can avoid, I'd rather lose money during the market open than pre-market and go in with like a negative, your number already, or just negative attitude. And it's just I want to start with a fresh, clean, mindset at the bell. So I try to struggle in late. But as soon as I get into on my computer, I go on Twitter. Twitter's a lot of my big things to see what people are talking about. I look at what's on the scanners, see what small caps kind of gapped up, or stocks have gapped up. What's the news on those stocks? How do they look on the charts? And from there, I decide which ones am I going to focus on for the day. And I try not to have a strong bias, but that's pretty much. And after that, a normal day, usually done trading by around 10:30 a.m. Honestly, this is really good. If you guys don't know, 10:30 a.m. is like a natural time in New York time, Eastern time, right? The market is a natural time where the market will change. The stocks are going to start acting different. Like that's when whatever was easy, that first hour and a half or so, it stops. And that's when you kind of just, people slow down. And our traders, we slow down and we kind of just start looking at other stuff, or stop trading, looking at what other stock is next, or doing other work. And then 12 o'clock, it's a little slower because it's lunchtime, and nothing is much going on. And then we return. I personally, my edge kind of comes back around 1 o'clock p.m. between 1 and 3. And so that's when I get active again. And then after 3 o'clock, 3 to 4, the last hour of close, I try not to trade that much anymore, because it's not really like, the probability of you making money that last hour is not really there. I'd rather just not.
Okay.
But that's what I do at the moment.
All right. And so how much percentage would you say that added towards your success? Because for me, when I became more disciplined, when I started to have like a structural day, like, like what you have now, that was, that was what I kind of needed to start getting that success that I wanted to see. So for you personally, how much big, how big was that?
Can you repeat your question again? Like,
So having a disciplined and structured day,
oh yeah,
how
yeah.
important was
Okay.
that for you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's very important. Honestly, if you're not, and I'm still nowhere where I'm at, like you need to be working hard every day, like, yeah, I come in straggling late because but before I was even a prop trader, I was waking up 5 a.m. and we had to remember 5:30, 5 a.m. doing my homework on the stocks the night before too, looking at the stocks, look and planning my trades, right? And they always say if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. So it's really important. And then after, I journal a lot of the time, and I didn't mention that. Right now I'm kind of on and off, not perfect yet, but your journaling is super important. Journaling your psychology, going over every trade. Sometimes there's too many trades I have to go over, so to optimize my time, I find what's my best trade, and dig into it. What was good or bad about it. I find what my worst trade, the good and bad, and I try picking a trade that I can improve on. And then also really important is recording your screen. If you really want to speed up your game, if you record your screen, after and start watching that tape after the market, you're doubling your learning curve. It's gonna be a lot. I mean, you're actually lowering it by a lot, right? Because now you're getting twice as much screen time as anybody else. And more, what I love more specifically is if you're recording a specific setup that you love, right, or trade that you love, and you're able to go back into that one moment and see what happened, maybe that you missed, that you didn't catch, and watch it over and over and over again. And you do that enough times where you're gonna start to, when you see it again, you're gonna get that feeling, and you're gonna learn how to trade it a lot better. But yeah, it's having structural. Like, you can't avoid the hard work. If you really want to get good at this, it requires a lot. But
100%. And you mentioned about journaling there, and earlier on you were talking about your edge, and a lot of people struggle with that. Your edge is so important in the market. For me personally, two things really created my edge, and it was backtesting and journaling. Without those two things, I couldn't find my edge. For yourself, what was it? How did you find yourself? How did you create yourself, edge wise?
yeah. Yeah, so in the beginning, in the during my training period at Chimera, right, and actually I should have kept this in mind. In the interview, it was important because the firm I'm at trades a specific way, and they asked me like, hey, like, we're kind of looking for people with actually no experience. We want to kind of build them from the ground up, and you kind of seem to have some experience with trading. Like, what, and in my head, I'm just like, it's concern for them, and I told them, well, look, I don't think I've specifically deserved to say I've defined what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. I feel like I haven't really explored everything, and every type of strategy. So, to be fair, it may seem like I trade only one way, but I don't know anything at all. And and I'm definitely open to learning, different things. So, and that's why I think he really loved that question. So anyway, I just want to throw that in there. But fast forwarding to trading, the for me, I knew right away. I knew the firm trades small caps mainly, and I always told myself, I just feel so, like, the small caps feel so dangerous to me because of volatility and scary. They just seem scary, and psychologically, I feel like if I go long, it's gonna fall on my face. So I always knew naturally, and then the community, I was already just plugging myself in, that I would feel more comfortable on the short side. And when I was trading as a trainee, my P&L would basically agree with me that I was better at my shorts than my longs. And what I really did to be consistent is I focused on one setup that I liked. At first I was trying many different things, and I was just losing money and sucking. I'm like, okay, if I'm serious about this, I just need to just get one setup at a time. Just let me master one setup, but let me get good at one setup. And so all I did was sit back and just waited for that setup to appear like a picture on the chart, and I would trade it. And I would trade on the short side because, again, like, my P&L is basically telling me I suck on the long side. Your P&L is the ultimate reflection, because your beliefs on the market are different than what your P&L is going to say, or if it's the same, that's good. If your belief on the market is, oh, I know what I'm doing, but your P&L is all red, like, that's contradictory. So that's going to tell you a lot. And P&Ls are hard to look at and actually go through what's my average winner, what's my average loser. That's actually what I did too. I looked at what my average loser was, or my average winner, sorry, for the day. And I told myself, I can't lose to my average winner. And that should at least keep me flat, right? Like mathematically, statistically, that should keep me flat. And so that's what I did. So that's what I would, I would only risk for the day, my average winner, and I would wait for that one setup and on the short side. And that's what I did for a few months. And I got pretty good at that setup. And then I'm like, okay, what's the next setup? And I just little by little started building up my playbook. And now I have all these kind of setups in my head. I've been for a year now, I've been at this firm trading professionally, and yeah, I've definitely come a long way from as a trainee, but that's essentially how I found my edge. And then now once you kind of know your edge, you're like, well, if I'm good on the backside shorts, then I need to know everything about backside shorting. And so I plug at who are the great Greek trading gods of this, who's in the community. Let me put my tentacles everywhere. I need to know everything about it. And that's what I did. So definitely come a long way from that.
Okay. And earlier on you mentioned about you're not where you want to be yet. So I would like to call it you're in a stage of becoming. Because you're not going to stay where you are right now forever, right? You're still going to evolve. So looking in your surrounding right now at the prop firm and your mentors and whatnot, what are they doing that you would like to take on to improve yourself to go to your next level?
Yeah. So it's not really so everyone at the firm, like, believe it or not, like there was a few people who actually trade the way I trade now, but me and a couple other traders are kind of the heart of the way we trade. So there's people who like to trade spots, who like to trade breakouts, who like to trade large caps, who are comfortable trading only momentum, so everyone's different. We kind of all have little pods. We all gravitate naturally to who trades like us, and we share ideas and stuff. And so there was not too many people in the firm that I kind of looked up to in a way, that because of the strategy I wanted to get into, no one was really there. And then there's some traders there that are too far into their journey that it's really hard for them to come back down and help you. And especially if they're trading another strategy, it's just it's not going to work if they try to help you. So that was my problem. So I started reaching out to people outside the firm and kind of growing my network there. And I was able to, luckily, and it was just recently, I think 3 months ago, I met this guy, and he's already changed my trading a lot. And just from these few sentences he would say, and he trades the same style. He never goes long, by the way. He only goes short. So I thought that was crazy. I was like, well, there's money on the longs. You're so good at shorting that when not to short. So why wouldn't you just go long when not to short? But I guess that's part of, some traders are like that. They'd rather just stick exactly to what they're good at. And he said he sucks at longs. So I'm like, all right. So his executions is what got me interested in him. And he would trade the same stuff I was trading, but I would be struggling, or my chart wouldn't look as pretty as his chart. His chart would be insane. Like just recently, this guy could be in a position against him, $5,000-$6,000, and he's calm, he's comfortable. Like that's his risk. And in terms of his account, his risk is managed and he's comfortable about it. Maybe a little antsy, but he's teaching me, if the idea, the story of the stock, of what's happening that day, then you should be confident and size appropriately, and you won't have to really per se stop out, because the way he trades, he hardly ever stops out. He has like an 80% batting average, and but again, he trades differently, right? But that's who I kind of look up to. I look out of the firm. There's a guy named Nathan McCod too. I don't know if you know him on Twitter. He's a really big trader. And I just learned, the trader I'm talking about, I met dinner with him yesterday, had a couple beers with him. And, he was talking about Nathan McCod and saying like, this guy is a god, and I don't know how much more I could say, but just, if you look up Nathan McCod on Twitter, YouTube, he just basically told me everything I know is, I learned from him, and you should learn from him. Like I'm a normal being. I'm like you. I just have more experience, but he's a god. Like go and he knows this because he knows close people to him, and they know his P&L, and he's a trader who probably no one will ever reach his level of trading. This guy could probably not blow. It's not impossible for him to blow up his account because his full position size couldn't even go into the trade. Like, it's crazy. So, but yeah, that's who I aspire to look up to, and he's helping me too. And he told me some recent stuff. If there's something I could help with you guys, like in terms of it, it's like psychology, right? Psychology is probably one of the biggest edges you can have. Like, I could trade without any indicator right now. All I need is volume. Maybe, even then though, this guy told me yesterday, maybe I was overthinking about it when I was telling him some volume stuff. And I was like, damn, what the hell? Like, you always think you got it. All right. But psychology is so huge. And then one trader that I became good friends at my firms, he hit me with one line saying, if you can't show me who's the dumbass in the trade or in the trade, then it's you. And so that was like the beginning of my psychology journey at the firm, learning, okay, where are the buyers, where are the sellers, who's getting fucked where is max pain for them, when do I get in, and what I want. And being a short, I want to get in when longs are confident or when I know they're weak, right? I want to hit at those points. And so a lot of my strategy and edge trading now is evolved around psychology. And even more now I have to go and apparently, talking to this trader, like I said, I'm not nowhere near it. And he's, I have to kind of step back intraday, my intraday setups I have, those patterns. I have to go back and look at the daily and understand the story, the bigger picture per se. He doesn't stop out because, he could be in a position and let it go 5 points against him because he just knows that this thing's going to go back down. How confident he is? Like, pretty confident, because to be down a lot of more money, in an open position. But because he knows the story, and it just takes time. It takes a lot of time. Yeah, he definitely. One thing too that he told me that really hit me was like, I told you I got my first aha moment, probably like second or third aha moment at the firm, right? And I always kind of thought naturally, oh, you just need that one aha, right? You need that one aha, and then you got it. He hit me by saying yesterday, well, that's good, you got those aha moments, but you need 200 aha moments. And I was like, what?
I thought I was gonna say, literally, it's a series of aha moments.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. And he goes, but see, like, if you keep going, they're gonna climb the speed of these aha moments, get faster and faster and faster. So like, it's not gonna be as like the 1 year, 2 years, 3 years it took you to get that first aha moment. And that kind of blew my mind yesterday, because I knew that's something that I can tell other people. And I always help other people. And I wish I would have, like, that made total sense, and it's so true, because you're just always learning.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to learn. Yeah.
I agree. You've made a great point about how, you've tapped into a little bit about his mindset and psychology when obviously he's in a drawdown. When we were speaking, you said obviously, given the current market right now, your portfolio is also in a drawdown, right? So this is kind of like a two-part question where I'm going to fit in the psychology part into it. So number one, as I said, you're in that drawdown phase. So give us some of that raw emotions that you're feeling right now, because as traders, you just want to press that button and you just want to see that, that blue screen or that green screen. So number one part of the question is, give us that raw emotion of being in drawdown.
Okay. Yeah. I can get, this is really juicy because this is good, right? So I would say the first thing is, before I talk about the reason why I feel the way I feel, is 2 books, The Disciplined Trader and Jesse Livermore, the stock operator, I believe. Because of those books, I've managed to really learn how to control my emotions and my psychology, more emotions. And so my drawdown doesn't affect me as much in my trading. I know and have experience enough to know to come in with a fresh mind, and it's a new day every day, And so it can spill over. I'm not perfect, it could spill over, but I usually come in the new trading day not thinking about that. But I had to size down, because I got to a certain point on my drawdown where I was like, I think I was fighting my P&L. I think when the oil stuff went crazy recently because of the war, it made it seem like the market was back alive and good again, but like the volume sucked and the edge just wasn't still there. And my drawdown went from being a little like tiny to getting big really fast, because I was just sizing like crazy. And then when I got to a certain point, I was like, okay, like I think it's the first time where I had to admit I was a bit prideful. Like, no, I was consistent. I was super green. Like, I know what I'm doing. What I was doing was making money, and it should still work. But when I got to that point, I knew that I had to took my pride away. I sized down and build back layers again, and it's still more about the process than making money. And I have to keep reminding myself that. Now I keep repeating, and I'm not perfect again. Every day during the market, during trading, I keep telling myself, be the Cougar, be the Cougar. Because recently it's like I've learned more about cougars and how they kill and hunt, and I love that they wait for their prey. They stand in a tree and they wait for their easy prey to come to them, right? And that's when they'll jump on it, and they don't go out hunting, right? They stay there and sit until their prey comes. And even if they're prey, they'll try a few times to get that prey, and if that prey walks away, they actually give up. They cut their losses. They go back into the tree and wait for the next one. And so that's I keep repeating myself that every day, because if you're in a drawdown, you can't be as aggressive as you want. Even if that's an A+ opportunity, you can't size up. You just can't. It's bad for psychology, and you need to size down. And I can tell you, sizing down, you trade so much better. It's so much easier. And and like you said about flashing your P&L, right? Like, I was actually telling a lot of the traders at the firm, flashed your P&L. We tried to hide it, but sometimes we just have the F1 key and we could just press it and see it. And I tell this trader that when I met up with yesterday about it, he's like, "What, bro?" He goes, bro, that's so bad. What do you? I don't even look at my P&L for the day, honestly. Just trading for so many years, he goes, I kind of know what I made or lost, but I don't even look at my P&L. And he's like, and then compared to like where he's at versus where that Nathan McCod guy's at and where I'm at, he's like, dude, you're not even making anything. Like, I'm not like, he's like, I'm not trying to take your pride down or anything, but you're not making anything. Like, your P&L today does not matter in the long term. Like, what you're gonna make years from now just doesn't matter. Like, stop looking at your P&L, like process over P&L, right? And I know this because I trade and everything, but it's hard, like when you're trading professionally and you feel like you need to make money, and you have a lot of money to trade with, right? The firm seeds you an account and you have tons of money to trade with. I feel, and then what's also hard about is that you're having other traders making money, some losing, like, and when they make money, you feel like, oh, you should be making money too. And then that's a whole nother thing about working with the firm too, and other traders around you. You have to learn to also like zone in on you yourself. So yeah, so I had to size down, and just he convinced me to size down really tiny. I'll even tell you how tiny I'm going to size down this week. I'm going to trade 25 shares only, right? 25 shares, and I'm going to focus back on the process, and and focus on my edge. And he said he traded so tiny because it's always 2 steps back. And lately it's been, it'd be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And and he said for him, that was when he got really tired. It was killing him, it was breaking him. So he traded really tiny for a long time. And over time, he didn't even realize it, but he was sizing up, little by little. Like, the rate of where you size up should be a lot slower than the process, your edge you're getting, and that's kind of not how I was, when during the 2020, 2021 market, or after I was hired as a trainee. I was green. I was like raking in money. And I was just like, every week I was like, hit me with more size, give me more size, give me more money, like at a faster rate. And he's like, that's not how it's supposed to be. So in a way, like, there's a lot of wake up stuff that I had with them yesterday. And that goes to show, even where I'm at, like, there's just, I'm far from what I want to do or be, and where I want to be. So yeah.
Okay. So now I guess the second part of the question is, you went through this phase of drawdown. Earlier on, you talked about having this fresh mind in every day is a new day. So what are some of the activities that you do to improve your psychology, especially in the drawdown period? I mean, do you follow some of the Brett Steenberger's work, or what do you do?
So yeah, like, and this is why I say, like, it's hard because, and yeah, I would say that, like, right, it's big psychology. Brett Steenberger. There's this other guy. Let me see. I thought he was really good, man. He talks a lot about psychology. I'll have to find him after, but go. I would. if you already don't have a strong psychology type of mindset, right, trading, if you do let emotions get to you a lot, you know, that's what I would do. I would, you know, keep hearing stuff, hear stories. If you don't know the Chat with Traders podcast,
Mhm.
that's legendary. That's so gold.
Yeah.
Like there's people who talk about all their drawdowns, you know, there's people who, it's one is like, you can't give up, right? Don't think negative. You know, remember, if you're going to be successful at trading, you have to think positive. You have to learn from every mistake too, right? You have to really target why are you drawing down? And then slowly peel back, how do I stop that little by little? Not how do I completely stop it, because you're not going to do that. It's like, how do I little by little get better and better, and focus less on them. I think that's key. Just you can't think of the drawdown per se of the money. What you do have to do is respect the drawdown. You have to do a lot less of what you're doing, because what you're doing is making you lose money. And you need to like wash that mindset. Just like it sometimes takes pride to like, man, I did all this work and I know I'm kind of doing what I'm doing now and I'm losing money. And if I go back to scratch, like back to like ignore everything, kind of what I know now, and go back to scratch, like that's all the work I've done, but you just have to do it. And I think that's what I was fighting when I was down. What am I drawdown now? When I was halfway of that, that's when I was like kind of fighting that. And then when I got a little too big, I was like, all right, I gave up, and I said, all right, what I'm doing is clearly not working. I'm not going to lose any more money. I need to take a step back. And literally ever since I traded again small, focused more on the process, started journaling a lot more, reading the tape, I started having more green days again than red. And that's where I'm at right now. But I'm going to size down even smaller, because where I want to go in terms of my edge, I'm still not there. I guess I really got to go back to the process again. So honestly, it's like I'm going back to zero again with trading 25 shares and really mastering the process.
Okay. So I guess now on the flip side, this is like your remedy when you're in a drawdown. But when you're in like a losing streak, so when you first started the firm, you said you had those green days, and then earlier on you mentioned how you would only have one red day in like 2 weeks. So when you're in that winning streak, what do you do psychologically to not let that throw you off? Because we know, Mark Douglas talks about one simple trade can throw a trader off.
Right.
So what do you do to stay within your zone inside the winning streak?
Yeah. So I think what it is confidence in your strategy, right? In your edge, or your trading system. I haven't even said that word, and that's important. Your trading system, right? Your trading system is everything, combined with journaling, combined with your risk management, psychology, everything. But I think risk management is what's most important, right? It's your risk management is going to keep you from losing big, right? One thing that Brian introduced to me, and obviously now I have it at the firm, but is having a max loss for the day. That'll stop you from blowing up your account. I don't care if there's more opportunity, this thing's going to go another 50 points or something. Like, no, you have a hard stop at your max loss for the day, and you're done trading. They cut you off. That's going to save you a lot of money, right? And then also, if you know your P&L and you know your stats, you're going to lose. You're going to have red days, right? My bat's like 30%. So I know I lose. I don't win every trade. I lose most of my trades, right? But you need to lose a lot less than your winners, So cutting my losses really fast and letting my winners run, that would help me cover those losses on those red days. And I just expect red days. As long as my red days were smaller, and like I said, when I was a trainee, they had to be, I didn't let it really go past more than my average winner for the day. So if I'm say I'm green for 3 days out of the week, or 4 days out of the week, and I have that one red day, like, I'm going to keep that one red day to that one average winner day. So it's really only taking out one day, right? And that's just how you're going to keep growing. Like, you're going to have, for every one red day, you're going to have 3 green days, and then you're just going to, like, you don't press it. You don't press that. You ride that rhythm. And then if you follow your system, one day the market's going to reward you. There's going to be outlier days where the market's going to reward you for following your system, where you take the same trade. You're not greedy. You're making the same trade you always make, but this time, instead of going 20 cents, 50 cents or a point, it decides to go 3 points, 4 points. It decides to give you a lot more reward out of nowhere. And those are the days where your money actually, those are the days where traders actually make money, where it's, it really pops out. And so then if you keep those losses, again, like as your average winner, those outlier days are going to even, now your loser has to fight your average winner, and now has to fight the outlier winners, and you're going to have some outlier losers too. But then this is where the daily max loss comes in, right? And I think the one biggest thing too is I have yet to have my biggest loser. My biggest loser is still smaller than my biggest winner, because I refuse to let that happen. Like psychologically wise, I think that's what helps me too. So I think that should help.
That's some great points there. Just looking at time is running really fast.
Yeah, I know there's a lot we could talk about, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if you guys want to talk again
So
too.
that's what I was gonna say. If you've got any like few key bits in terms of action points or key facts that you wanna just quickly throw in there before we summarize.
Well, can you give me an idea? Like, I mean, I'm not sure in terms of your community or what are you guys trading, or what do you guys like to trade?
So we're mostly, as I said already, we're in the retail space. A lot of us we are either funded by our own personal funds, or we are if funded by a prop firm. And pretty much, I think I'm in the forex game. I know a lot of people. I would say maybe 90% of both the listeners and people on the call here are in the forex game. But I think some of us may have dabbed into stocks and cryptos. But that's why I wanted to just keep it psychologically, because
Right. Okay, so this is good, because I have a friend, really close friend, who's getting into the forex game. I didn't even know about like really anything about forex, but I actually I was sitting with him in one of his lessons that I forgot who he signed up for, and they were giving one of his lessons, and after his lesson I was like looking at his charts. I'm like, oh, these look like normal charts, as the same thing. And I was kind of teaching him like what I do, which is like I read price action, right? And without any indicators. And I told them like, and there was this one specific moment where the stock had kind of dipped down and came right back up, and it was at an important price level. And I told him, I bet you, I don't know what happens on the right side, but if you scroll over to the right side, I bet you the stock went higher. And he scrolls over, and he's like, to him that was magic. And I was right. I wasn't too sure, but I most, from what I know, it makes sense that the stock went higher, because based off the price action I saw on the left side. And he's like, holy shit, like, can you show me more about that price action? So like, and why I'm saying that is and the only reason I was able to do that was because I combined price action with psychology of what I said to you guys, was the knowing the buyers and the sellers. So if there's something I could say right now is, I could trade without any indicator in the forex market, or in the start thing, or in stocks, with equities, because psychology, like everything in any market, and I don't know who said this and from what book, but in any market, psychology is always the same. There's always, and why? Because we're all humans. There's humans on every market, and it doesn't matter what type of market you're in, that we're all humans. They all have human emotions, right? They all have fear, they all have greed. And I think you really should focus on not really indicators so much, but focusing on the story of the stock. And like I said, like, where are the buyers, where are the sellers, and learning the psychology of the whole day of the trade. I think that's gonna really change your game and your edge, because a lot of people rely, I think, too much on indicators. I myself, when I started, I had the RSI, I had like the TTM squeeze, I have all these stuff. I had the EMAs, VWAP, which I still use VWAP and EMAs, but I had so many other indicators everywhere. Psychology, I think psychology and volume is all you need. But I really go back. If I point a chart and you couldn't tell me where the longs got nervous, or where they got scared, or where shorts got nervous or scared, I think that's what you need to start, is learn that. And I think what you could do is just Google price, like how to read price action, and yeah.
Okay. Lastly, is there any like key action points anybody can take that's definitely going to bring some success to them?
Yeah, I mean, I say, like, kind of like I said right now, go focus on psychology. Make sure you're journaling every trade. I would say if you're not profitable yet, trade very tiny. It's not about making money, right? Don't worry about making money. If you're struggling financially, go get another job. Trade tiny, right? It's about it really, I don't know if we keep saying that, but it really is about the process. Like, that's what you need to do. I would say if you haven't listened to Chat with Traders, go listen to Chat with Traders. just soak up everything you can, especially if you're in the beginning of your journey. Again, like soak up everything you can. If there's a certain way you like trading, look for those traders on Twitter. Twitter is like a heavily trader community, and there's always a trader out there who trades like you. But you have to go. It's hard to vet them, see who's real, who's not.
Yeah.
But that's what I would say is go scale back. Focus on the process. If you're not making money, you're doing it wrong, right? You're doing something wrong. And really dig into that, and then track your P&L, set your max loss. That's what I would say.
Okay, awesome.
Don't give up. Yeah, don't give up. It's hard. I'm struggling. That I'm in a big hole, but like I said, I was telling this trader yesterday when I had dinner with him, like, man, it's hard right now, and he felt for me. He goes, no, dude, I feel so bad because I know what you're going through. I know your pain. But I promise you, like, and he flashed me his P&L just to kind of like, just to give me hope. Like, dude, he made 80 grand on Monday. Well, he made 80 Monday, lost 25 Tuesday, made 50 Wednesday. Like, he's like, trust me, like, I know it's hard, but if you get there, it's possible. And I don't say that to think about the money, but that's just the life that's going to happen, right? Because the trading style is uncapped. Once you get to that point, the success is just uncapped. It's like not any other job. And it is one of the best jobs in the world, honestly, besides superstar and an athlete, so yeah, sorry to spill over your time, but
no, it's cool. What I'll do is I'm going to call this part one, and if you in the future, bro, if you're willing, we'll definitely do a part two, because as I said, you're becoming as well. So speaking to you as who you are now is going to be different to in about even 3, 4, 5 months time. I know it. So if you're up for it, I'll definitely do a part two. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to wrap up, and earlier on you talked about how you love the markets, and that's what kind of kept you going. And Angel also touched on that as well. And I want to summarize with saying a quote from the one of the trading books, the Market Wizards, that I was reading. Can't remember which one. I think it must have been the second one, and I can't remember which trader as well. But this quote stuck with me, and he said, "My success comes from my love of the markets. I am not a casual trader. It is my life. I have a passion for trading. It is not merely a hobby or even a career choice for me. There is no question that this is what I'm supposed to do with my life." And I think this will summarize this call, honestly, because that's what it would take for you to not throw the towel in, for you to not give up. Truly having that passion, and truly just forgive yourself, number one, and second, just pat yourself back in the back on the back, and then just pick yourself up, because that's all it is. And you can have everybody out there, you can have the best traders, you can have the best mentors, but at the end of the day, it's you and you and you.
Yeah.
So really, like, don't go too hard on yourself. Listening to John's journey today should give you some sort of inspiration that those moments will come. Okay, and if you've gone through them, well, hang on for some more, right? They will come. So guys, thanks for being on the call here. It's been amazing listening to John. I definitely got some key points. And just to wrap up, so for the winners, I think we'll do about 5 winners. What I'll do is this has been recorded. I'll put this on YouTube, and what you should do is drop down some of the key facts that you've learned here today. Okay, it could be 1, it could be 10, whatever. And I'll pick 5 winners by the end of tomorrow. Just do like a spin wheel kind of thing, and then I'll send you the link to the books, and there's some books that John here mentioned. But other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this call. I'll put it on YouTube so you guys can listen to it, and if there's any further questions, just reach out to me. But John, thank you again for your time, bro. Definitely looking for part 2, forward to part 2, but can't thank you enough, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I'll send you some links for stuff I mentioned or some good resources. That way, when you post a YouTube video, it'll be in the description as well.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
no
guys,
worries.
thank you so much, and I'll see you guys on the next call.